So Ubisoft is apparently having a fire sale with some of their IPs, and when you look around at the games that they've created over the years on particular platforms and games that they've created that have skewed to particular platforms, in my opinion, there's really only one game proper that Microsoft should look into purchasing. One IP that is quintessentially Xbox. And I think you know what that is, and I definitely know what that is, and it's Splinter Cell. Now, the original Splinter Cell was something of a revelation on the original Xbox. Metal Gear Solid was the de facto stealth title, but it was a very different type of game, and the team that created Splinter Cell looked to create a stealth game grounded in realism. So, for instance, Sam Fisher didn't have a cardboard box that just magically appeared. He had all these gadgets that were just sort of on him, and you really didn't have any idea how he was carrying all those things. Like Solid Snake carried so many different things, and yet they just appeared out of thin air when you selected them with the L2 or R2 button. But with Sam Fisher, you had a loadout, the concept of a loadout. There was a finite amount of gear that you could take for each mission, and there was a lot of mix and match that allowed you to sort of tailor the gameplay to your style. Did you want to go run and gun? Did you want to go complete stealth? Did you want stealth with some offense, mostly defense? There was a much deeper, in my opinion, deeper understanding of realism in a world like that with a Splinter Cell agent or a spy. So when that game launched on the original Xbox, it was amazing. The best looking game at that time. It utilized the original Xbox's hardware in ways that the PlayStation 2 couldn't. Now, that game was multi-platform. Originally, Xbox only, came to PlayStation later on. But if you look at the PlayStation 2 version versus the Xbox version, it is a completely different game. There were some levels that were completely taken out because the PlayStation 2 just couldn't hold that much data. So ultimately, Splinter Cell got its start, its name, and its prominence with Xbox. Then you flash forward to all of the subsequent sequels, and then you get to something that I think makes this IP the one and only IP that Microsoft should be focused in on, and that's the very unique take on the service aspect, the multiplayer aspect, spies versus mercs. I'm not a multiplayer fan. I don't play multiplayer games, but this one I played because it gave me something that was completely different than running around shooting, getting kills versus somebody else's kill ratio, stuff like that. I could be the stealth. I could be the spy. I could hide. I can set traps. There was so much in terms of the gameplay and the way that it just brought in so many different types of gamers, right? You didn't have to be a Call of Duty, super Twitch-based gamer. You can find a way to contribute in this multiplayer arena as a spy or as a mercenary, and the gadgets really gave you the same sort of insight in the gameplay that the single player gave you with those gadgets into the multiplayer. It was a great marriage of the two different branches of the game, the single player and the multiplayer. And that in and of itself is reason why I think it would be an amazing IP for Microsoft to own, to buy, and hopefully put someone on it that can create a great single player story-driven narrative with a great character. You already got Sam Fisher. I don't know who's going to voice Sam Fisher. It's kind of like when they got rid of David Hayter. Just didn't sound right, just didn't feel right, but what are you going to do? He can't do it forever. Michael Ironside obviously is probably not going to voice Sam Fisher anymore, but just the IP in general I think would be super, super important and a great IP to have underneath of what Microsoft and Xbox has right now. Now, of course, even if they purchase it, it's probably going to be a third-party game. I get it, guys. I get it. It's going to come to PlayStation anyway. It doesn't matter what Microsoft purchases. It's going to come to other platforms. The big driver, of course, and I'm not saying that this is the end-all, be-all, but you know what they're going to say. The big driver is Game Pass. A big IP like Splinter Cell dropping into Game Pass day one with a service side to it. Spies versus Mercs is probably something very attractive. I would imagine it would be something very attractive to Microsoft. I don't know. But I would imagine they would look at that and they would say, of all the IPs, like Assassin's Creed, and the way that Assassin's Creed has been going, and the way that Ubisoft has been focused on creating things that have very little to do with actual, the gaming market or gamers in general, they're pushing something else. Splinter Cell has been dormant for a long time, and I feel like it is the one IP that absolutely Microsoft should take a look at for Xbox. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Am I way off here? Is there something else that you think they should go after? Or do you think they should go after multiple different IPs from Ubisoft? For me, just go with Splinter Cell, get that one IP and focus in on that. If you buy a bunch of different IPs in addition to everything else that you just purchased and all this stuff that you have to mix and match and manage to get games in and out of Game Pass and all this stuff, buy one, a big one, Splinter Cell, focus on it. Spies versus Mercs, single player, multiplayer, the service aspect is all taken care of with this IP, and it is a beloved Xbox franchise. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.